Hi everyone, Jess here, and today I'm joined with Sophie Lane, Chief Relationships Officer at Aerospace Technology Institute. Thanks for joining me today, Sophie.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, so come April, you're going to be moderating some sessions focused around innovation and disruptive technologies on site at Aerospace Tech Week Europe. We're going to get into that in a moment, but I thought, could we start off with you sharing a brief description of your job role?
Yeah, absolutely. And you won't find another chief relationships officer because that job title doesn't seem to exist anywhere else. So, of course, I'll explain it. Essentially, I work for the UK Aerospace Technology Institute. We're a funding institute as well as supporting the wider sector. And I'm responsible for all relationships, partnerships, outreach, international engagement, and also media and comms. So I spend a lot of time working with UK government and overseas governments, talking about what we're doing in the UK and also talking to industry about partnerships.
Fantastic. Okay, so you've really got your ear to the ground in the industry and you can sort of you have a pretty wide overview of the changing landscape. So
Well,
with
that's the hope.
that's the aim. So with that in mind, what would you pick out as the most disruptive technologies we've seen in the last year or so?
So I think in the last year or so, I probably really focus on propulsion technologies. I think there's been quite a few milestones that have been hit that are quite exciting. From a UK point of view, the UltraFan by Rolls-Royce went on test. That was a massive milestone for us. It's been a long-running project and also one that's pretty well known in Europe. Also, Safran, their electric motor reached certification, which is an amazing achievement. Vertical Aerospace have been testing their battery technology, which is incredible and not just, applicable for the eVTOL world. And then the other one I talk about is probably ZeroAvia, who's slightly longer than a year, but they powered the first UK's first commercial scale aircraft flight with hydrogen electric propulsion. So some really exciting things happening in that area.
Definitely. And a lot of the technologies you've touched on are sort of in their infancy now. So it's interesting to see how they're going to shape the industry. And you mentioned eVTOLs as well. Of course, that's been a very challenging market, and we're seeing a lot of disruption in that space as well. So it'll be interesting to see. Do you have any thoughts on how you think that's going to progress that landscape?
I mean, from our perspective, proving out the technology, moving towards certification, understanding the viability, but also the scalability of that technology is really important. So I think there are obviously a number of challenges at the moment in the sector broadly. And I think that's true across the sector, not just in the eVTOL market. But actually, the technologies that are being developed, showing their credibility and really cementing what they can do for the future, that's kind of where our focus is.
Fantastic. Thanks for clarifying that. And then given the rapid pace of technological evolution, how can decision makers strike a balance between investing in new technology today and waiting until it's slightly more developed or seeing if something else comes along quite quickly after?
I mean, it's really difficult, isn't it? We've got a sector which is not only recovering from COVID, but has received quite a lot of shocks in recent years. And companies of all sizes are really challenged by, are they investing in rate today and today's technologies, or are they investing for the future? And I think the answer is, how can we as organizations help to de-risk the environment? How can we provide certainty, prove out that technology to allow investors, encourage private investment alongside government investment, and really look at partnership, and how we can work together to advance that technology to a point where it is adoptable, um, And I think, for the ATI, that's what we do. We help to de-risk the investment that people have to make into research and development. And hopefully, by doing that, we are enabling the wider sector to make the choices so that that future investment is worthwhile.
Okay, so really seeing that knock on to how other players are going to engage with these technologies, that must be very rewarding as well.
I mean, there are no right answers in this. We are not only looking at technology, but we're looking at sustainable technology. We're talking about decarbonising a really hard to decarbonise sector. So it's about working together. It's about competing because obviously we want to keep our sector strong. But it's also about collaborating and thinking about where we can work together to be able to advance things more quickly.
Definitely. And then you touched on earlier sort of Rolls-Royce, Vertical Aerospace, and some other companies. Who would you say is ones to watch or leading the charge when it comes to innovation in the sector?
Do you know what? I mean, there are those companies that I mentioned earlier that are pretty well known, but there are some really exciting, disruptive companies that are kind of flying under the radar at the moment. And through the work we do with SMEs, there are companies like Ty6 who are doing great work with metallics and reducing weight massively. Icomat is a company who are working in composites. We've got WAM 3D looking at additive manufacturing, Ultima Forma looking at novel manufacturing. And then you have other companies. We have one called Adaptix who've come from the healthcare sector and they've brought essentially X-ray technology and they're able to do non-destructive testing. And it's really exciting the number of small players who are either entering the market or really kind of looking at different ways of working and how we can take advantage of that to be more competitive for the future.
Definitely, and that's such an interesting point you've raised about the sort of cross fertilization across industries. So, especially when it comes to sustainability and the like, people are sort of all fighting with the same challenges. So it's interesting to see how you can sort of pick and reshape the different sectors.
That might be one of the ways that companies are able to overcome this gap till the next aircraft program if they are able to exploit their technology in other sectors as well. And there are lots of crossovers into different sectors. Then that could be a way that we can help to sustain and make sure that we're ready for that next aircraft program when it comes.
Fantastic, yeah, because I think that's one thing that people have been touching on. There's a sort of a near term and a far term, and it's what goes on in that mid-range area. So if we think about the event that's coming up in April, are there any sessions you're particularly looking forward to, whether these be yours or anyone else's?
So, I mean, the agenda looks amazing, and I think I'm going to struggle to get to all the sessions I want to get to. Um, Given it's International Women's Day tomorrow, I'm going to call out that the session after mine on day two, talking about the men's role in advancing gender equality in aerospace. I think that's really important. I think it's really important at the moment, so I'm really looking forward to that. But you've got loads of AI sessions that I think are really interesting. Non-CO2 is a fascinating area with a lot of research going on at the moment. And then also, you have a session on the second day in the afternoon looking at digital transformation in MRO. And I think that could be a really exciting area. So I'm definitely going to be at that one.
Fantastic. Well, lots to look forward to. So thank you so much for making the time to share your insights today, Sophie. It's been really great to get your perspective on the industry.
No worries. Thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing you in April.